Jack Thompson yawned as he walked out of his small apartment. It was just another Monday morning in New York City. The sun was rising, painting the sky with soft oranges and pinks. He joined the crowd of sleepy commuters heading to the subway station. Little did Jack know, this ordinary day was about to become extraordinary. As he waited for his train, Jack noticed people around him looking up at their phones, eyes wide with shock. Curious, he pulled out his own device. Breaking news alerts flashed across the screen. Unknown objects entering Earth's atmosphere. Multiple sightings of massive ships worldwide. Is the first CONTACT? Jack's heart raced. Was this real? Or some elaborate hoax? The train arrived, but no one seemed interested in getting on. Instead, people rushed out of the station, their eyes glued to the sky. Jack followed, his legs moving on autopilot. As he emerged onto the street, he gasped. The once familiar New York skyline was now dwarfed by an enormous, disc-shaped object hovering silently above the city. Its surface shimmered with an otherworldly metallic sheen, reflecting the morning sunlight. All around him, people stood frozen in awe and fear. Car horns blared as traffic came to a standstill. In the distance, police sirens wailed. Jack's phone buzzed. It was his mother calling from Ohio. "Jack, are you seeing this? There's one here too." Her voice trembled with a mix of excitement and terror. "Yeah, Mom. I see it," Jack replied, his own voice barely above a whisper. It's unbelievable." As they spoke, more reports flooded in from around the globe. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Cairo, all reported similar ships appearing in their skies. The entire planet held its breath, waiting for what would happen next. Hours passed, but the ships remained motionless. World leaders scrambled to convene emergency meetings. Military forces worldwide were put on high alert. Yet the visitors made no move, no attempt at communication. As night fell, the city that never sleeps was eerily quiet. Jack sat in his apartment, glued to the news. The ship outside his window glowed softly, casting an eerie light across the city. Just after midnight, every screen on Earth, TVs, computers, smartphones, suddenly went dark. When they flickered back to life seconds later, they all showed the same image, a humanoid figure, clearly not of this world. The being's skin was a pale blue, with large almond-shaped eyes that seemed to look directly at each viewer. When it spoke, its words were somehow understood by everyone, regardless of language. "People of Earth," the alien began, its voice surprisingly melodious. "We are representatives of the Galactic Empire, a confederation of advanced civilizations spanning this galaxy." The being paused, allowing the weight of its words to sink in. "Our arrival may seem sudden to you, but we have been observing your world for many of your centuries. We come with a message of utmost importance." Jack leaned closer to his screen, heart pounding. "Humanity," the alien continued, its tone growing stern. "You must cease all attempts to expand beyond your planet. The stars are not for you. For your own safety, and for the safety of the galaxy, you must remain isolated on Earth." Gasps and cries of disbelief echoed through the streets. Any attempt to disobey this directive will be met with immediate and severe consequences. This is not a negotiation. This is a warning. With that, the transmission ended, leaving billions of humans in stunned silence. Outside, the massive ship began to ascend slowly, disappearing into the night sky. Similar reports came in from around the world. The ships were leaving as mysteriously as they had arrived. But they left behind a world forever changed. Humanity, once on the brink of its own space age, now faced an unimaginable challenge: stay confined to Earth, or risk the wrath of a powerful galactic civilization. As the sun rose on a new day, Jack looked out his window at the city below. The streets were chaos, some people celebrating the aliens' departure, others protesting the ultimatum, many simply lost in shock. One thing was clear: Humanity's greatest test was just beginning. And despite the warning, despite the threat, a fire was already beginning to burn in the hearts of millions. The Galactic Empire had told humanity to back down, but backing down had never been humanity's strong suit. The world woke up to a new reality. Alien ships had come and gone, leaving behind a stark warning: stay on Earth or face the consequences. In New York, Jack Thompson found himself caught in a whirlwind of emotions and chaos. As he walked to work, the streets buzzed with a mix of fear, excitement, and anger. "Did you see that blue alien?" a hot dog vendor asked his customer. "Looked like something out of a movie." "Movie? This is real life, pal," the customer replied, shaking his head. "And they just told us we're prisoners on our own planet." Jack couldn't help but agree. The thought of being confined to Earth forever made his chest tighten with anxiety. At his office, work had ground to a halt. Everyone huddled around screens, watching as world leaders struggled to respond to the situation. The President of the United States appeared on TV, her face grave but determined. "My fellow Americans and citizens of the world," she began, "we face an unprecedented challenge. But let me be clear, we will not bow to threats, no matter their source." Similar messages came from other nations. The Chinese president vowed to protect Earth's sovereignty. The European Union called for global unity. Even long-standing enemies found common ground in the face of this cosmic threat. But not everyone agreed on how to respond. Jack's coworker, Sarah, argued passionately for compliance. "We don't know what we're dealing with," she insisted. "These aliens could wipe us out in seconds." "So we just give up," retorted Mike from accounting. "Let them bully us into staying put." "No way." As debates raged, scientists and military experts were already hard at work. In secret facilities around the globe, they pored over data collected during the aliens' brief visit. Dr. Emily Chen, a renowned astrophysicist, made a startling announcement on a late-night news show. "The energy readings from these ships are off the charts," she explained. "Their technology is centuries, maybe millennia, beyond ours." This news sent shockwaves through the scientific community. How could humanity hope to stand up to such advanced beings? But then, a glimmer of hope emerged. In a classified military base deep in the Nevada desert, a team of engineers made a breakthrough. They had managed to salvage a small piece of alien tech that had fallen from one of the ships. General Laura Martinez stood before a group of top officials, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, holding up a small glowing device, "this changes everything." The alien artifact, no bigger than a smartphone, contained vast amounts of data. It would take years to decode it all, but even the first bits of information were revolutionary. As news of the discovery spread through government channels, a spark of defiance ignited around the world. Humanity might be outgunned, but they weren't giving up. In universities, garages, and tech companies, people began working on new inventions inspired by the alien visit. The space programs of various nations, initially shut down after the warning, quietly resumed operations. Jack felt the shift in the air. On his way home from work, he passed a recruitment center for a new Earth Defense Force. The line of volunteers stretched around the block. A street artist had painted a massive mural on a nearby building. It showed a human hand reaching for the stars, with the words, "The cosmos is our destiny," written boldly across it. As night fell, Jack stood on his apartment roof, looking up at the sky. The stars seemed different now, knowing what was out there. He thought about the aliens' warning, about the challenges ahead. But he also thought about human history, about all the times people had faced impossible odds and triumphed. A smile crept onto his face. The Galactic Empire had told humanity to stay away from the stars, but in doing so, they had only made the stars more tempting than ever. As Jack turned to go inside, he couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. Humanity had been challenged, and if there's one thing humans do well, it's rising to a challenge. The game was on. and Earth was playing to win. 3 months had passed since the Galactic Empire's warning. The initial shock had worn off, replaced by a fierce determination that spread across the globe like wildfire. Jack Thompson found himself swept up in this new wave of human ambition. He had joined a civilian space research program, leaving behind his old job for a chance to make a difference. "Welcome to Project Starbound," Dr. Emily Chen announced to a room full of eager volunteers. Jack sat among them, feeling both nervous and excited. "We're here to push the boundaries of what's possible." Around the world, similar projects were taking shape. Governments had put aside their differences, pooling resources and knowledge in a united front against the alien threat. In Russia, engineers worked tirelessly on new propulsion systems. In Japan, scientists made breakthroughs in artificial gravity. India's top minds focused on long-range communication technologies that could pierce the depths of space. But it wasn't just governments and scientists leading the charge. Ordinary people found ways to contribute too. Sarah, Jack's former coworker who had initially advocated for compliance, now ran a popular blog. She translated complex scientific concepts into simple terms, helping the public understand the progress being made. Today's post is about the new fusion reactors. Sarah told Jack over video chat, "People need to know we're not sitting ducks. We're fighting back with knowledge." Even kids got involved. Schools worldwide launched Space Week programs, encouraging students to dream up solutions to space travel problems. A 12-year-old girl in Brazil made headlines with her innovative design for a zero-gravity vegetable garden. But humanity's efforts didn't go unnoticed. 6 months after their first appearance, the alien ships returned. This time, they didn't land or send any messages. They simply hovered at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, a silent, ominous presence. The world held its breath, waiting for the aliens' next move. In a high-security war room, General Laura Martinez addressed a group of world leaders. "We've detected energy readings from the alien ships," she reported. "They're scanning us, watching our every move." The President of the United States leaned forward. "And the artifact? What have we learned?" Dr. Chen stepped up, her face a mix of excitement and concern. "We've only scratched the surface, but what we found is incredible. Their technology operates on principles we're only beginning to understand. It's like comparing a smartphone to a telegraph." "But can we use it?" the Chinese president asked, his voice tense. Dr. Chen nodded slowly. "We're making progress. Slow progress, but progress nonetheless." As the leaders debated their next steps, Jack and his team at Project Starbound worked around the clock. They had been tasked with designing a new type of spacecraft, one that could potentially match the aliens in speed and maneuverability. "What if we combine the alien tech with our latest fusion reactor?" Jack suggested during a late-night brainstorming session. His teammate, a brilliant engineer named Zora, grinned. "That's crazy, but it just might work." Days turned into weeks. The alien ships remained, a constant reminder of the threat looming over Earth. But instead of cowering, humanity thrived under pressure. New technologies emerged at an unprecedented rate. Solar panels became twice as efficient. Electric cars could now travel thousands of miles on a single charge. Medical breakthroughs promised longer, healthier lives. It seemed that in trying to cage humanity, the Galactic Empire had only spurred them to greater heights. 3 months after the ship's return, humanity was ready to make its move. In a secret location beneath the Nevada desert, a sleek spacecraft stood ready. It was smaller than traditional rockets, its hull gleaming with a material that seemed to absorb light. This was the culmination of Project Starbound's efforts, a ship that combined human ingenuity with reverse-engineered alien tech. Its name, painted proudly on the side, said it all: Defiance. As the launch crew made final preparations, Jack looked up at the ship with a mix of pride and apprehension. This wasn't just a test flight. It was humanity's first real step into the cosmic arena. The Galactic Empire had told them to stay away from the stars. Humanity's answer was about to roar into the sky, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of an entire planet. The countdown began. Earth held its breath, and in the darkness of space, the alien ships watched, unaware that their warning had set in motion events that would change the galaxy forever. The day of the launch arrived. Around the world, people gathered around screens, hearts pounding with anticipation. This was humanity's moment of truth. In the control room of the secret Nevada base, Jack Thompson stood with the rest of the Project Starbound team. His eyes were fixed on the main screen, which showed the sleek form of the Defiance ready for takeoff. T-minus 60 seconds, announced the launch controller, her voice steady despite the tension. Dr. Chen squeezed Jack's shoulder. "Whatever happens today," she said, "we've already won. We refuse to give up." Jack nodded, too nervous to speak. T-minus 10, 9, 8. The final countdown felt like an eternity. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. The Defiance roared to life. Its engines, a hybrid of human and alien technology, glowed with an otherworldly blue light. The ship rose smoothly, accelerating at a pace that defied conventional physics. In mere minutes, it had left Earth's atmosphere behind. Cheers erupted in the control room, echoed by celebrations around the globe. But the real test was yet to come. Captain Maria Hernandez, pilot of the Defiance, reported in. "Control, this is Defiance. We've cleared Earth's orbit. Systems are nominal, ready to proceed to Phase 2. General Martinez took over. You're clear for Phase 2, Defiance. Good luck and Godspeed." With that, the Defiance activated its main drive. In a flash of light, it vanished from Earth's sensors. For several tense minutes, there was no communication. Then suddenly, Captain Hernandez's voice crackled through. "Control, this is Defiance. We've done it. We're in lunar orbit. The drive works." The control room erupted in cheers once again. Humanity had just crossed a threshold. They had matched, perhaps even surpassed, the Galactic Empire's faster-than-light technology. But the celebration was short-lived. Alarms blared as the massive alien ships, which had been silently watching Earth for months, suddenly sprang to life. They moved towards the moon with incredible speed. "Defiance, you have multiple bogies incoming," warned General Martinez. "Prepare for possible hostile engagement." The world watched, breath held, as the alien ships approached the tiny human vessel. Inside the Defiance, Captain Hernandez and her crew steeled themselves. They had trained for this, but facing the reality of an alien confrontation was something else entirely. Suddenly, a transmission cut through their comms. A familiar blue alien face appeared on their screen. "Humans," the alien said, its tone a mix of anger and disbelief. "You were warned. The consequences of your disobedience will be severe." Captain Hernandez stood tall. "We are not here to fight," she replied. "We are explorers. This is our solar system, and we have every right to traverse it." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Your primitive understanding of galactic law is irrelevant. You will power down your ship and prepare to be boarded." Back on Earth, tension reached a fever pitch. The alien ships had surrounded the Defiance, weapons primed. In the Nevada control room, Jack turned to Dr. Chen. "We have to do something." Dr. Chen's eyes widened. "The artifact," she whispered. "Quick, bring me the alien device we salvaged." As Jack rushed to comply, Dr. Chen explained her plan to General Martinez. The general nodded grimly. "It's risky, but it's our only shot." Dr. Chen connected the alien artifact to their systems. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, inputting a series of commands. On the Defiance, Captain Hernandez watched as the alien ships drew closer. Her hand hovered over the emergency protocols. She would not let her ship be taken without a fight. Just as the situation seemed hopeless, something incredible happened. The alien ships suddenly stopped. Their weapons powered down. The blue alien on the screen looked confused, then alarmed. What have you done?" it demanded. On Earth, Dr. Chen allowed herself a small smile. "We learned more from your technology than you realize," she murmured. The alien ships began to retreat, clearly thrown into disarray by whatever Dr. Chen had done. As they disappeared into the depths of space, Captain Hernandez's voice came through, filled with awe and relief. "Control. The aliens are gone. We did it. Humanity stands its ground." Cheers erupted once more in the control room, spreading across the globe. Against all odds, humanity had faced the Galactic Empire and emerged victorious in their first encounter. But as the celebration raged on, General Martinez's face remained serious. This was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire would be back, and next time, they would be prepared. The real struggle for humanity's place among the stars was just beginning. The celebration of humanity's first victory against the Galactic Empire lasted barely a week. As dawn broke over New York City on the 8th day, the sky turned an ominous shade of red. Jack Thompson, now a key member of Project Starbound, was jolted awake by the blaring of emergency sirens. He rushed to his window, his heart sinking at the sight above. The alien ships were back, but this time they weren't just watching. Massive beams of energy rained down from the ships, striking major cities around the globe. The Empire had decided to make good on its threats. Jack's phone rang. It was Dr. Chen. "Get to the emergency bunker now," she shouted over the chaos in the background. "We're activating Protocol Omega." As Jack raced through the panicked streets, he saw the true scale of the attack. Buildings crumbled under the alien assault. The proud skyline of New York, which had stood against so much in human history, was being rewritten in fire and destruction. In the hidden bunker beneath the city, world leaders and key scientists gathered. Their faces were grim as reports poured in from around the globe. "London is hit hard," reported the British Prime Minister, his voice shaking. "The Thames is boiling. Beijing has lost all communication," added the Chinese president. "We fear the worst." General Martinez slammed her fist on the table. "We need to launch a counterattack." "The Defiance was our only ship," Dr. Chen cut in. "And it's currently on the dark side of the moon, out of reach." The room fell silent as the gravity of the situation sank in. Humanity had won the first round, but the Empire was now showing its true power. Suddenly, Jack had an idea. "The alien artifact," he said, his voice growing stronger. "We used it to confuse their ships before. Can't we do it again?" Dr. Chen's eyes lit up. "It's possible, but we'd need to boost the signal strength enormously to affect all the ships." "And how do we do that?" asked the U.S. president. A voice crackled over the intercom. It was Captain Hernandez from the Defiance. "We can help with that," she said. "We're coming back to Earth. If we can get close enough to their mothership, we might be able to transmit the signal directly into their fleet network." It was a desperate plan, but it was all they had. As the Defiance made its daring return to Earth, teams around the world worked frantically to prepare. Jack and Dr. Chen raced against time to modify the alien artifact, pushing its power to the limit. Above them, the battle raged. Earth's military forces, though vastly outmatched, fought bravely. Fighter jets clashed with alien scout ships in the skies over every continent. On the ground, tanks and artillery provided covering fire for evacuating civilians. Hours passed like minutes. Cities burned. Millions were displaced, but humanity refused to give up. Finally, the Defiance appeared in Earth's atmosphere, streaking across the sky like a comet of hope. Alien ships immediately moved to intercept it. "We're approaching the mothership," Captain Hernandez reported, "but our shields are failing. We need to transmit now." In the bunker, Jack and Dr. Chen shared a look. This was it. Do or die. Transmitting. Now. Dr. Chen hit the button. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. The alien ships continued their relentless assault. Then, one by one, they began to falter. Their energy beams flickered and died. Some ships collided with each other, their navigation systems thrown into chaos. In the skies above New York, the massive mothership listed to one side, its engine sputtering. A cheer went up from the bunker, echoed by millions around the world as they watched the alien fleet fall into disarray. But their joy was short-lived. As the Defiance approached Earth, a final, desperate beam from the mothership struck it head-on. "We're hit," Captain Hernandez's voice crackled over the comm. "We're going down. Repeat, Defiance is going down." Jack watched in horror as the brave little ship, humanity's first true starship, streaked across the sky in flames, heading for the Atlantic Ocean. The alien fleet, though crippled, was still present. The Defiance was lost, and the fate of Captain Hernandez and her crew remained unknown. As the dust settled on this brutal day, one thing became clear: the war for Earth's future had truly begun, and the next move would determine everything. The world held its breath as the Defiance plummeted towards the Atlantic Ocean. In the New York bunker, Jack Thompson and Dr. Chen watched helplessly as their last hope disappeared from radar. "We've lost them," a technician announced, his voice hollow. The room fell silent. The weight of loss hung heavy in the air. But there was no time to mourn. The alien fleet, though crippled, was regrouping. Earth had won a battle, but the war was far from over. General Martinez's voice cut through the gloom. "We've bought ourselves some time. Now we need to use it." As if on cue, Jack's phone buzzed. It was Sarah, his former coworker turned blogger. "Jack, you need to see this." A video appeared on the main screen. It showed hundreds of small boats heading out to sea from coastal cities around the world. "They're looking for the Defiance," Sarah explained. "People aren't giving up." Dr. Chen's eyes widened. "If even a piece of that ship survived, we could reverse engineer it," Jack finished her thought. "We could build more." A spark of hope ignited in the room. Humanity had tasted the stars, and they weren't about to let go. Over the next few days, a miracle unfolded. Captain Hernandez and most of her crew were found alive, rescued by a fishing boat off the coast of Newfoundland. More importantly, large chunks of the Defiance were recovered from the ocean floor. The alien fleet hovered ominously, but made no move to attack. Their communication systems remained scrambled, buying Earth precious time. In secret facilities around the globe, work began at a feverish pace. The recovered pieces of the Defiance were studied, replicated, and improved upon. The alien artifact that had saved them was dissected, and its secrets laid bare. Jack found himself working around the clock with a team of engineers. They were tasking with cracking the code of the aliens' faster-than-light drive. "If we can figure this out," he told his team, "we can take the fight to them." Weeks passed. The world slowly began to rebuild, but everyone knew it was just a temporary peace. Then, 1 month after the Defiance's crash, a breakthrough came. "We've done it." Dr. Chen burst into the workshop where Jack and his team were working. "We've cracked their communication network." The implications were enormous. They could now listen in on the Empire's plans. What they heard chilled them to the bone. The Empire was calling for reinforcements. A massive armada was assembling with one goal: to crush Earth once and for all. But the intercepted messages also revealed something else, something that changed everything. "They're afraid of us," Jack realized, looking up from the translations. They've never seen a species advance this quickly before. They're worried we'll upset the balance of power in the galaxy. This news spread like wildfire. Humanity had been on the defensive, fighting for survival. Now they realized they had the potential to be so much more. In a historic broadcast, the United Leaders of Earth addressed the planet. "Citizens of Earth," the U.S. President began, "we face the greatest threat in our history, but we also stand on the brink of our greatest triumph." The Chinese president continued, "We have looked to the stars for millennia. Now we reach for them not just with our dreams, but with our hands." The Galactic Empire sought to cage us, added the Russian president. Instead, they have freed us from our earthly bonds. In shipyards hidden beneath the ocean, in vast caverns hollowed out of mountains, humanity's answer to the Empire took shape. A fleet of ships, each one an improvement on the Defiance, stood ready. They named the flagship Phoenix, a symbol of humanity rising from the ashes of near destruction. As the last rivets were secured and final systems checked, news came in. The Empire's armada had entered the solar system, thousands of ships darkening the sky as they approached Earth. Humanity's fledgling fleet looked tiny in comparison. But size wasn't everything. Jack stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, next to Captain Hernandez. Dr. Chen manned the science station. Around the world, billions watched and waited. "This is it," Captain Hernandez said, her voice steady. "The moment that decides the fate of our species." Jack nodded, his heart pounding but his resolve firm. As one, Earth's fleet rose to meet the Empire's armada. The final battle for humanity's future had begun. The vastness of space became a battlefield as humanity's fleet faced the Galactic Empire's armada. The Phoenix led Earth's ships, a bright spark of hope against the overwhelming darkness of the enemy forces. On the bridge of the Phoenix, Jack Thompson stood beside Captain Hernandez, his heart racing. Dr. Chen's voice came over the comm. "All ships report ready. It's now or never." Captain Hernandez nodded grimly. "For Earth," she said, and gave the order to engage. The battle erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions. Earth's ships, though outnumbered, fought with a ferocity that surprised the Empire. The human ships were smaller, faster, and more agile, darting between the larger alien vessels. Jack manned the communication station, coordinating between Earth's ships. "Squadron 3, watch your flank," he called out as a group of Empire fighters closed in. Just then, the enemy flagship hailed them. The blue alien commander appeared on screen, his expression a mixture of anger and confusion. "Humans," he growled, "your resistance is futile. Why do you persist in this madness?" Captain Hernandez stood tall. "Because this is our home," she replied, "and we will never stop fighting for it." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Then you leave us no choice but to." His words were cut off as the ship rocked violently. An explosion bloomed in space as one of the Empire's large cruisers erupted in flames. "Direct hit," cheered Dr. Chen. "The new photon torpedoes work." The tide of the battle began to turn. Earth's ships, armed with weapons reverse-engineered from alien tech, were more than a match for the Empire's forces. One by one, enemy ships fell. But the Empire still had numbers on their side. As the battle raged on, Earth's fleet began to take heavy losses. "We can't keep this up forever," Jack said, watching as another friendly blip disappeared from his radar. Captain Hernandez's face was set in determination. "We don't have to. We just need to reach their command ship." The Phoenix pushed forward, taking hit after hit as it plowed through the enemy formation. Alarms blared as systems began to fail. "Shields at 20%, called out the tactical officer. "Keep going," ordered Captain Hernandez. As they neared the massive Empire flagship, Jack suddenly noticed something on his console. "Captain, I'm picking up strange readings from the enemy ship. It's the same energy signature as our FTL drive." Dr. Chen's eyes widened in realization. "That's it. They're faster than light technology. It's their weakness." With renewed purpose, the Phoenix made its final approach. Enemy fire intensified, rocking the ship violently. "Shields failing," shouted the tactical officer. "We're in range," Jack reported, his fingers flying over the console. "Transmitting now." The same signal that had scrambled the Empire's ships during the attack on Earth now beamed directly into the heart of their flagship. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then a massive explosion ripped through the enemy ship. Its lights flickered and died. Across the battlefield, Empire ships began to lose power. Their mighty armada, once so threatening, now drifted helplessly in space. A cheer went up on the bridge of the Phoenix, echoed across the comms from the other Earth ships. They had done it. Against all odds, humanity had won. In the aftermath of the battle, as Earth's fleet rounded up the disabled Empire ships, the blue alien commander was brought aboard the Phoenix. He looked at the humans with a mixture of fear and awe. "How?" he asked simply. Jack stepped forward. "You tried to keep us caged on our world," he said. "But in doing so, you forced us to reach for the stars harder than ever before. You made us stronger." Captain Hernandez nodded. "We don't want war," she added. "We want to explore, to learn, to grow. And now we've earned our place among the stars." The alien commander bowed his head in defeat. "The Empire has underestimated you," he admitted. Perhaps it is time for a new approach." As news of the victory spread across Earth, celebrations erupted around the globe. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged triumphant. But for Jack, Captain Hernandez, Dr. Chen, and all those who had fought for Earth's future, this wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. They had defended their home. Now, it was time to explore the vast galaxy that awaited them. As the Phoenix turned back towards Earth, the stars seemed to shine brighter than ever before. Humanity's age of cosmic exploration had dawned at last.